on Brooklyn Verse. We're going up against the World Cup disappointment teams. We thought we were going to get so much out of them, and we got so little. Let's get in there.
Go Bridgeside!
Welcome back to another installment of Brooklyn Versus. Tonight we're going to be taking on the disappointments of the disappointments, these World Cup teams that are about to go home. Let me introduce you to the crew. I'm DB as always. I got Chris the Analyst Ventura, the closer, and I got Dr. Sports Science Philly Cags.
Was good.
Jumping in. All right, let's get it going. So, first and foremost, who's the most disappointing of the disappointing, Chris? Who do you got?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to say Argentina at this point, but I'm going to go with Peru.
Okay. Give me a little something.
So Peru, they're ranked 11th in the world right now, and I don't take the rankings too seriously, but even still, they're a very strong team coming out of South America. They're a South American team, which they play all those strong teams, Brazil, Argentina.
Right.
And the group they should have won. They outplayed Denmark, lost 1-0. They played very well against France, lost 1-0. Mm-hmm. So those are the two games they lost. Now they're out of the tournament already. I think that was pretty disappointing considering Denmark shouldn't be there. Denmark is either going to go to the round of 16 and get smacked or lose this game against France, and Australia might, advance somehow over Denmark. But right now, Denmark has the seat into the round of 16. They don't deserve to be there. Peru's the best team besides France in that group, I think.
Wow, okay. So, Phil, I'm going to go to you. Who do you got in this disappointment stage, we'll call it?
Like Chris said, it's hard. It's hard not to say, so I'm not even going to try. It's Argentina.
Yeah.
The fact that they are that they tied Iceland right off the bat was a problem. This is the fifth ranked team.
Yeah.
We talked about where's Messi.
And worthy of the ranking, by the way.
Yeah.
Where's Messi? Where's Aguero? We were just talking about these offensive players they haven't shown up. They've completely disappointed. And now they're at the bottom of their group. I mean, who would have thought that was happening? And then just so devastating when you got a superstar like Messi on the world stage, and just
one of 11, though.
Yeah. Especially.
And by the way, they may need some help. We never thought they'd be in a situation where they needed another team to lose or draw.
Right.
We
Exactly.
thought they would control their own destiny, and they don't right now.
And it's worse because, obviously they're the class of this group, and this is a team that made the World Cup and lost in 2014. They made the finals, right? They made the finals, lost to Germany. This is a team that has firepower. Look what Ronaldo is doing, who's, arguably the best player compared to Messi. Like, Argentina should easily have won a game here. They should have beat Iceland. I mean, you saw Nigeria take care of Iceland, no problem, 2-0. The first game Nigeria played against Croatia, they lost 2-0. But Argentina shouldn't be losing 3-0 to teams. They shouldn't be losing. But here's the thing. I know that the defense isn't as good as their offense, right? Okay, they don't have a great defense. And their goalie is a guy that isn't really, his name's Caballayan. He's the backup goalie. They didn't have their true goalie, who's Romero, who normally plays in these World Cups.
Okay.
So I understand that. But at the same time, got to get a win along the way, especially against Iceland.
Yeah.
I mean, this team's stacked in the front, six. They're stacked. And the coaching is bad. There's a young player named Paul Dybala who sits on the bench, one of the best players in the world, striker, and he's not getting any minutes in these games. He needs to be in there. He's like 22, 23 years old. Got to get him in there. You got to get young blood in there if things aren't working out. You lose 3-0 to Croatia. It's a shame. A lot of it has to do with coaching and Messi.
But you know what, though?
3-0.
They're still possibly talking about going to a stage of 16. Whereas,
there's a chance.
I'm going to mention Poland, who came and ranked 8th, and they have 0% chance to get into the round of 16.
They're out.
I mean, this is a team that good striking. It was supposed to be a decent defense, and we thought that they would actually.
One the better.
I mean, I thought a bunch of people thought potentially win the group. I get it was a tougher group, but they could have won the group. And I mean, just a complete disappointment. Both games they were dominated.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a close game where we could say, all right, maybe they hang on.
To the contrary, I think in one sense is that you say this is a tough group. I know it's called the group of death, but there is no powerhouse that they face in this group. I guess you could say Colombia is the powerhouse of the group. Colombia is a very strong team, and they showed that after they smacked Poland 3-0. And they're fast. They got all the speed. But Poland has good players. They have the guy Milik. They have, like you said, Lewandowski, a big-time scorer. But this is a guy that needs service, and I don't think there was enough midfield. I didn't see the heart from them. Maybe there's a problem coaching-wise as well. They also have good defensive players, and their goalie Szczęsny is pretty good as well. He's a good goalie in the Premier League. So, You need these guys to step up. They didn't step up. The first game they lost, they made a couple of big mistakes.
Okay.
They could have easily tied that game or won that game against Senegal. But Senegal's a strong team, like we said.
Playing well.
It's upsetting that they lost, but they're not a powerhouse, so I wouldn't say, I'd still say Argentina right now is the biggest upset. And back to Argentina, they could easily win this group. They could easily get out of this group now. They could beat Nigeria. Nigeria's a good team, but they could easily beat them.
And they could power up, yes.
And Iceland's playing Croatia, who's obviously one of the strongest teams in the World Cup right now, right? I don't even think they've given up a goal yet, I don't think, right? Maybe one goal. And they're playing Iceland, who, now let's say they rest their starters because they're probably winning this group. Even still, maybe they tie with Iceland. Then Iceland only has 2 points. Argentina wins, they got 3 points. They advance.
Or what about on the contrary, though, if Croatia they take their foot off the gas and Iceland comes out with all this urgency and just wins 1-0.
It could happen. It could happen.
No, they win 1-0 in a World Cup game. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff this year so far. And then Argentina not only has to win, they have to put up goals.
Right.
Yeah, and that's not, and Nigeria's, they can score also.
Well, that's the thing. Because Nigeria, if they lose, let's say 1-0, I think they beat out Argentina on goal differential.
Yeah, because they lost 3-0 to Croatia. It's a big thing to lose by 3.
The goal differential
is -3.
Right.
So the needing help part is the thing that I have a problem with.
And this last phase of the group stage is interesting because, teams like Croatia and France, who are already guaranteed a lock into the next stage, and all they have to do is pretty much tie to basically win the group. Right. And Croatia, I think, pretty much got the group locked up, unless Nigeria beats Argentina by a certain amount of goals. That's the only way they're losing the top spot in the group. So Croatia might just lay back, play defense. Now, Iceland could end up getting that goal, and like you said, so this is interesting. I personally think it'll be like a 0-0 draw because I don't think Iceland has enough to do it. I just think Croatia just has world-class players, whereas Iceland doesn't. Iceland just doesn't have world-class players.
They're part-time players.
Yeah.
And the three of us had been discussing this prior. Now, do you think that there's any merit to the fact that Germany so far has been a disappointment,
I
being
think
the powerhouse that they are?
I think they have been a disappointment, even though they won that last game.
And they needed I don't want to say miracle because it wasn't a miracle, but they
sort of was.
Yeah, they were down a player.
Man,
They were down a man, and they got the last minute of stoppage time. And it was a beautiful play, and it was a beautiful play off a free kick, and it was a beautiful goal. But they needed a lot to go right. They blew a lot of chances. They had a lot of chances right in front of the net. A lot of times, they was a little sloppy. I know you mentioned sloppy. There were a couple times they could have put it on a pass where they didn't get it.
Right.
They're not playing the way that you were used to seeing Germany.
And from a momentum perspective, they lose the first game to Mexico, obviously, world news. Then, what about
urgency, right? The next game,
right? Well, no, not exactly, though. Were they not down in the first half?
They were down.
In the second
they were
match?
down 1-0.
That's exactly the point. There was no urgency even going into the second
and they should have
match.
had. And that's why it's disappointing, and I agree.
It was only about last 20 minutes of the match there was urgency. Yeah. That's where they were pressing.
Right.
And they looked great. They just couldn't finish.
The other thing to add on to losing down a man, and the man that they lost is Jerome Boateng, who is the best defender on Germany, one of the best defenders in the world. He's out next game now, which is huge for them because they need at least a draw here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know they're playing the weakest team in the group in Korea, but still, you lose that defensive piece that holds down your center back position. It's very important. And they score a goal, but secret hero in this game, because Boateng was out, if you notice, Sweden was also attacking a lot, coming back with counterattacks on Germany. They had plenty of opportunities they missed, and Neuer made a couple of unbelievable saves to really hold that down and win that game for them. Because without Neuer, that game's over. That game is over.
He played great as their last line defense.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So I'm going to finish with this question. So we are talking about disappointments. So I'm going to ask, do you guys have best teams that did not make the World Cup? It's not something we really discussed. So
like
Italy.
Teams,
Italy, no, teams that
well,
didn't make it.
teams that didn't make it at all?
Yeah,
Correct,
Italy,
yes.
Italy and Netherlands, I would say.
Obviously, there's always going to be teams in the World Cup.
Yes, I'm asking, in your opinion, the best team that didn't make it. That was a disappointment, really, because they should have and they
Italy.
didn't. Yeah?
Italy. Netherlands, you could say?
This is the first time Italy's not in the World Cup since 1960.
Yeah, 50 years.
Wow.
Okay,
I did not know that. Yeah, that's
incredible. It's the first time since 1960. So I think, honestly, with the talking about disappointments of not making the World Cup, I think it begins and ends with Italy.
Well, no,
there are other disappointing teams. Don't get me wrong.
I honestly think I think that it's not Italy as the most disappointing because Italy comes out of Europe, which is the hardest place to qualify
America?
from.
All right, go ahead.
You come from a group where they play with Spain in their group.
What about
the
America?
winner of the group automatically makes the World Cup. The second place team has to play a playoff. Now, where they disappointed is they pretty much lost to Sweden in that playoff, which they should have won. That's where they disappointed. But in the group, they did well. They came in second. They had a lot of points. They were right behind Spain.
Okay.
It's the United States who are the most disappointing because they're coming out of North America where it's very easy to get out of there. There's two teams that are very good that actually have a chance of even getting close to the end of the World Cup, and it's America and Mexico.
Look at
no other team. Panama's garbage.
They got smacked by England.
And the other team is Costa Rica. Costa Rica's out. You know what I mean? Like, these teams are not good.
All right. That's kind of what I was fishing for anyway. United States, a huge disappointment in the game of soccer. And I knew you were going to mention Italy, but I was waiting for the U.S. mention. That's going to be this segment of Brooklyn Verse. Y'all have a good night.
Go Bridgeside.
48 teams. When they move to 48 teams, this is probably why they're doing it. Italy not in it.
Well, yeah, they want the ratings.
They want everybody as much as they can.
America's a huge rating.
Because why?
Oh, absolutely.